Hello, beautiful peaches. Welcome to the Macros, Metabolism, and Motivation Beautiful Peach Podcast. I'm your host, Caitlen, a reverse diet expert, sustainable fat loss nerd, and food freedom lover. After healing my own mind, body, and metabolism from the icky, restrict, binge, food guilt cycles, I became obsessed with helping other women do the same. I spent 6 years getting my bachelor's and master's degrees in all things nutrition, dietetics, and metabolism health, go Clemson Tigers, in order to start a science-backed, never cookie-cutter, always customized online macro and reverse diet coaching business. I have supported over 3,500 incredible women in their journey to endless results, and I am so excited to help you do the same. In this podcast, I will be teaching you how to break up with the yo-yo diet cycles, tips and tricks to heal your metabolism through reverse dieting. I will be giving away my sustainable weight loss secrets, all without you having to give up a single food you love. So if you're ready to rediscover that self-love and truly become the most confident, beautiful peach possible, grab a pen and a piece of paper, bump up your volume just a little, and let's dive right in. And don't forget to snag your completely free high-protein macro cookbook. All you need to do is submit a quality 5-star rate and review on this podcast, then fill out the form in the show notes so I know exactly where to send your cookbook. This will actually also automatically enter you into the weekly macro calculator giveaway. Every week, I give away a copy of my C. Schmidt macro calculator to one lovely, beautiful peach who has left an awesome 5-star rate and review on this podcast. The winner is announced every single week in my email newsletter email list, as well as my Instagram story. You can't miss it. So leave that 5-star rate and review, and I will see you in the episode. What is up, my beautiful, beautiful peach? Today, we are going to talk all about reverse dieting to prevent weight regain after dieting and after calorie deficits. This one is an absolutely incredible episode. I love the information that I'm going to share. I'm going to be really diving into how we can strategically reverse diet after periods of restrictive eating, or even after safe calorie deficits, in order to overall increase our intake without that mass weight regain. So lots of information to talk into this, or to talk about in this episode. So without further ado, let's dive on into this episode. Most people know that in order to lose weight, we do need to be in a calorie deficit. However, there are two scenarios actually in this situation that I would like to chat through that relates to weight loss and being in a calorie deficit, and how it may or may not be supporting you in the way that you think that it is. So this first scenario is for those who are already in a calorie deficit, and also they still want to lose more weight. Okay. In a calorie deficit, you want to lose more weight. Now, if you are eating at a lower intake, let's just say the example, 1,200 calories. That's my usual example, just because it's an easy one to remember. A lot of diets, a lot of apps just automatically put people at 1,200 calories. It drives me absolutely bonkers, because this is not actually taking into account the human, their metabolism, their past diet history, their ultimate goals. Like, it doesn't take anything into account. It's just literally taking your height, your weight, your age, activity factor, and it's putting everybody at 1,200 calories because the diet industry really just pushes that number and pushes this lower intake. However, I will say there are some diets out there like Optavia, which actually push you into an even less calorie intake. So for example, I believe Optavia is around 900 calories overall, and you're replacing your meal. So you're replacing whole food, like real food, with little protein bars. And the problem about this, there's two different problems, lots of problems here actually. But one of the big pieces that I find very interesting about Optavia is I'll have clients coming to me after I actually had somebody who just enrolled into BPM who has done Optavia, I think like 4 different times. And what happens is you're eating at that 900 calories, whether you know you're actually eating 900 calories or not. But number one, you're in such a low intake that your body's like, whoa, buddy, what are you doing? And it won't be able to sustain that long term because you're basically trying to have your body function at 100%, but with like 30% battery power there, right? Eating 900 calories. So everything in your body's down regulating just to keep you living and breathing. So your libido is down regulating, your energy is down regulating. So many different things are down regulating. I actually have a past podcast episode on that. I don't have the episode right here with me, but if you scroll back, you will see it. And the second problem here, though, there's like so many problems. Second problem is that if you, which you will, throw in the towel because you're like, I am so tired of being at this restricted place, you immediately jump back to 2,000 calories, you will have that weight regain if you don't reverse diet first. And then third, it's teaching you or making you forget how to actually eat real food. And it's teaching you that you must replace your food with a bar. So therefore, you're just paying Octavia for meal replacement food rather than learning how to actually live your life, to eat the real food, to learn how to go out and about, to learn how to stop by Starbucks on your way to, pick up your kid from school or whatever it may be. And you're losing sight of how to actually live as a human because you're replacing your meals with protein bars. I am like a huge, huge, huge advocate of there is no food that is off limit. There is no food that you must eat. We get to heal from the inside out using food as fuel, real food, the foods that you want to eat. Every single one of my clients is going to have a different preference, honestly. Some are going to be vegan, vegetarian, some are lactose free, some are, gluten free, some eat everything. There's going to be so many different variations. It's my job to cater to all of those. And also, when it comes to our body, we can literally eat any food that we want and still see results. Of course, I still very much believe in fueling our body with all the nutrients. And also, it's about that moderation, right? That's why we track macros. I just ate 2 Thin Mints. My box is getting a little bit low. And I'm like, I shouldn't have gotten just 1 box. I got Thin Mints and Samoas. And I'm like, I should have gotten like 4 of each at the rate that I am eating these bad boys. My husband does not like Girl Scout cookies. I'm like, you are wild. That's okay. I will take the task of eating them for you. Twist my arm. I will do it. So anyway, coming back here, we are already in a calorie deficit. And we want to lose more weight, okay? For the sake of this example, we are eating 1,200 calories. At this point, going into a further calorie deficit is not going to promote any further weight loss. It might even promote weight regain, and it is going to be downregulating a lot of our body's functions. Instead, we are going to want to do a reverse diet at this point. This will help you go from that 1,200 calories all the way up to 2,000 plus calories as the sake of an example. That's just an example here. I sometimes have people saying like, okay, Caitlin, so like it's 2,000 calories. And actually a lot of like nutrition labels say like that 2,000 calorie as just like your average. And that's a lot of people see that and like, okay, so 2,000 calories is like where I should be eating. And it's like, wait, no, back up. We need to be looking at your metabolism, your body, all those pieces. So just clarifying example numbers here. Now, reverse dieting will help us go from that 1,200 calories all the way up to 2,000 calories. Put it 2,000 calories as an example without that mass weight regain. So when you look at the overall process of this reverse diet, let's say you come into the process weighing 180 pounds, okay? And I like to look at this as a weight range. So I like to say, okay, you're 185 to 175, right? You've got a range there and you're eating 1,200 calories. You do a reverse diet after 6 months or 12 months, however long it actually takes you to do your reverse diet. You are now eating 2,500 calories. You're around that same weight range. You can actually, I do have it here. Okay. If you go to episode 109, will you gain weight when reverse dieting? I actually talk about weight range here. Because weight can fluctuate for so many different reasons, like down to period. Have you gone to the bathroom that morning? Like, are you dehydrated? Have you been traveling? Our weight it is a very natural, literally like body thing to happen, to have your weight fluctuate. And that's why we like to look at a range, because if we're hyper focused on, oh my gosh, I quote unquote have gained 1 pound of fat overnight because you've gone from 180 to 181, you have not gained one pound of fat overnight. That's all. I mean, if you are tracking your macros and actually hitting those numbers, like it's not going to happen. Like end of story. Like you're not going to gain that overnight. And so I think that people are so hyper focused on the number on the scale. We're starting to get a little sidetracked here, but people do get, oh good, I have actually the episode in here. I was about to say I have another episode on this. People get so
hyper focused on the number of the scale, they start to lose sight of the fact that the number on the scale really just doesn't matter all that much. I have clients who will be down in inches, who will be having a kick butt body recomp, and the number on the scale literally is just like different from where it was when they started, or like higher in the range, sometimes lower in the range too. But once you are able to disconnect from the number of the scale, you'll start to see the changes happening in your body outside of the number on the scale. So I'm not going to get really deep into this because I've got a full episode. So go to episode 85, Freeing Yourself from Scale Obsession, Embracing a Healthy Body Image. That's a great one for you, for anybody who is just hung up on the number of the scale and really wants to find freedom there. Okay. Now, when we are eating that 2,500 calorie place, we have gone from that reverse diet, from that 1,200 calories all the way up to the 2,500 calorie place with the same weight range, often a different body composition, especially if we are doing strength training, because muscle is going to weigh more than fat. And wouldn't you rather have some solid, like beautiful lean muscle taking the place of that fat? Sure, your weight range might be on the higher end, but your overall fat and body composition is going to change and look different. Okay. Now you can safely go into that calorie deficit to lose more weight if that is your goal. Okay. So that is one really important piece if we are the kind of person who is in a calorie deficit and we want to lose more weight. Okay. That's going to help us reverse diet to prevent weight regain after dieting. If we just go from that 1,200 calorie place all the way to 2,500 calories without the reverse diet, that is putting you in a calorie surplus, straight into a surplus, and you will see that weight regain. Because when you think about it this way, if you're eating 1,200 calories, so 1,200 calories, and we immediately jump to, I'm just going to use, we'll just keep using the number 2,000. We immediately jump to 2,000 calories without the reverse diet. That is an additional 800 calories a day that you're eating compared to where your metabolism sits, which is that 1,200 calorie place. So you're gaining an additional 800 calories a day. Okay. 1 pound of true fat gain is equal to 3,500 calories. Okay. So you'll be gaining, gosh, I can't do that math. Give or take 2 pounds a week, I believe, somewhere around there.
I want to interrupt this oh so lovely podcast episode of mine to let you know that BPM, my beautiful peach mastermind, is open for enrollment. BPM is my high-level group coaching program for women who want to reverse diet to heal their metabolism from that restrictive burnout so they can lose the weight and keep it off for good. It is for women who want to increase their energy and joy for life so they can chase after their kiddos, go out to eat with their significant other, and even have wine night with the girls without that restrict, binge, and food guilt cycle. As a bonus, all of my BPM clients get complimentary access to my reverse diet course, where you will learn exactly how to adjust macros for reverse dieting on your own. This quite literally includes my own personal spreadsheets that help you customize your reverse diet for your success. I even threw in my alcohol plug-and-play tracker for you ladies. Go ahead and apply through the link in the show notes or hop over to my Instagram and feel free to send me the DM BPM sneak peek for my inside look of the program details. I can't wait to see your application and enjoy the rest of the episode.
Now, there's a second example here of those who are in a calorie deficit and have actually hit their weight loss goal. Okay, so you're in a calorie deficit, you have hit your weight loss goal. In this case, you still want to do a reverse diet. So many people forget or lose sight or don't know that when we are in that deficit, let's just say that this person was eating, I don't want to use 1,200 calories, but let's just use it because that's the number we have been using. So let's just say that this person did a massive calorie deficit. It wasn't the healthiest one. They went to 1,200 calories. They did hit their goal. They don't want to lose any more weight. They still want to go into a reverse diet for the same exact reason that I just walked through. If we're eating 1,200 calories and we jump right on back to 2,500 calories or 2,000 calories, whatever it may be, your metabolism still sits at that 1,200 calorie place, meaning you will be putting yourself into a very large surplus, which will lead to weight regain. However, if you go from that 1,200 calorie place and you do a proper reverse diet, strategically adjusting your your protein, your carbs, or your fat. Each are actually adjusted differently and not all together. That's what my reverse diet course is all about. It will teach you the ins and the outs, exactly how to reverse diet, making everything custom and catered to you as an individual, to your metabolism. It walks through all of those pieces. It's the course that my BPM clients get to learn how to reverse diet too. So, I mean, either way you want to go, if you're like, hey, I want to reverse diet, I don't need the coaching, then go to the reverse diet course. If you would like the coaching, come hang out with me in BPM. Now, the scientific term, I do have this in here in case you're curious. It's metabolic adaptation. So metabolic being metabolism, adaptation, adapting. So when we're in that lower calorie place, that 1200 calories as the example, and we are hanging out there for a while, our metabolism's adapting to that lower calorie number, which is why we want to do a reverse diet, because it's going to allow us slowly but surely start to increase the amount that we're eating, basically using metabolic adaptation, which is the way that our body actually works. And it's going to help us basically trick the system, take over for the system, and have us go to that higher calorie intake without that mass weight regain, okay? And it really can be a cycle for someone, not like the restrict binge food guilt cycle, but for somebody who has been, like, if we're doing the first person, right? Let's see. The first scenario was the one who's in a calorie deficit already. They want to lose more weight. So they've already done the calorie deficit, right? So kind of like phase one, if you will, calorie deficit. And they're like, but I want to lose more weight, but I'm also eating 1200 calories. So phase two, they're going to go into a reverse diet. They're going to get their intake up from that 1200 calories all the way to 2600 calories, whatever it may be for you. You're going to get it nice and high. So you've done phase two, which is a reverse diet. Then you can go into phase three, which is actually a second calorie deficit. But because you've healed your metabolism to that really, really high set point, you have ample room to go into that calorie deficit again without probably even going below 2000 calories. And you can actually lose weight and hit that goal for good. And then remember, Mama Bear question here. If we're in a calorie deficit, what do? We reverse diet after, even if we've hit our goal. So you can kind of see it's a cycle, right? So the way that I like to remember it is, if you are in a calorie deficit, you always want to end that calorie deficit with a reverse diet. End of story. Okay. No matter what, if you have done a calorie deficit, if you're in a calorie deficit, you want to reverse diet when you are done with that calorie deficit. Okay. Always, always, always. But if you've reverse dieted and you're like, I still want to lose more weight, you can go into another calorie deficit followed by another reverse diet. So it's really a cycle. And then once you've hit your goal, you're like, hey, I'm feeling great, I'm where I need to be. Then you can just go into a space where you are, really the options are endless. It's something that I teach in BPM. It's one of those things where some clients want to do a lean bulk. Some clients get to where they want to be and they're like, hey, I'm feeling great, I would like to just go intuitive. Or, hey, maybe I can just maintain at these macros. All of those pieces are completely realistic. It's really just based on you and your preference. So I have clients who will go intuitive after their final reverse diet. I have clients who, will continue to track their macros, but like roughly track them. If you've been tracking your macros and really have taken the initiative to learn about macros, to learn about your body, to just take the initiative of being very intentional about the process, you can really easily start to intuitive after you are done. That's something that I really, really stand by. I think a lot of people feel that, or a lot of coaches, I guess, out there, like, you must track macros for the rest of your life. And it's like, nah, man, I'm not going to be tracking macros for the rest of my life. I personally have had phases where I'm not tracking macros, and then phases where I'm like, yeah, I might jump back on into macros for a while. And my body has been, for the past 10 years, I've been absolutely in love with my body. I have felt absolutely incredible eating all the food, have a very, very, very healthy body. Every time I go to the doctor, they're like, dang, girl, you are healthy. And I'm like, yeah, it's a reverse diet. That's right. So those are kind of the cycles that you can go through. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I am always on Instagram via DM. I'm always here to chat, just to hear, what's going on with you and see if I can support you in sending you in the right direction. So with all this, I am always so grateful for having you listening to my podcast. I've got some good episodes coming soon, so stay tuned, and I hope you enjoy this episode. Bye, my beautiful peach.